Welcome back to another fantasy fight. This time we're going to take a look at the top 10 heavyweights of the 1960s, and they're going to go up against the top 10 heavyweights of the 1950s. And in the end, we'll tally it up and see which decade was stronger. And I'd love to get your opinion. Please hit the like button and subscribe, and voice your opinion on who you think should win these matchups. Stay tuned. I think it'll be fun. This is Cleveland Williams and Hurricane Jackson. They both come in at number 10 in the 1960s and 1950s, according to Ring Magazine and my rankings. Williams fought out of Houston, Texas. The Hurricane came out of New York City. Williams stood 6'3", 215. Hurricane Jackson 6'2", 193. Williams has almost a 20-pound weight advantage. He also has the reach advantage. Here's Jackson as he's being introduced prior to the Floyd Patterson fight. He got the name Hurricane because he's a very active fighter, kind of a whirlwind, and he beat fighters on his tremendous stamina. Williams, on the other hand, was known for his power, his aggressive style, constantly moving forward. He was at his peak in the late 1950s and early 1960s. Just missed being ranked in the top 10 in the 1950s because he was only ranked in 2 of the Ring Magazine rankings. Who do you think's going to win this matchup? At the end, we'll give you our decision, but that's your first dilemma. At number 9, Jerry Quarry goes up against Nino Valdez. Quarry is 53, 9-4, 6'1", 194. He'd be giving up about 15, 16 pounds against Valdez, who is a good-sized heavyweight from Cuba. And also, Valdez is going to have the reach advantage of 6 inches. So this is going to be one of the few fights we have where we have a size discrepancy. Here's Valdez. If you're trying to decide how he would do against Jerry Quarry, you can see the wide punches. He's very aggressive, very strong. And there he is putting down Hurricane Jackson. Here's a workout video of Valdez to just show you how powerful he was. Once again, he was a top contender, I believe, in 53 and 54, when he was really in his prime. According to Ring Magazine, he was the top heavyweight in the world. Never got a shot at the title against Marciano. In his critical fight against Archie Moore, he lost. And there he is again. This is Jerry Quarry. Notice how tight his punches are. Combinations. Quick hands. Although he was not real big, he was very effective. He had one of the best chins in heavyweight history. Had a granite chin, and that was his problem. He took too many blows. And here's his knockdown left hook against Floyd Patterson. The number 7 and 8 fighters of the 1950s and 1960s are the same 2 fighters. They were 2 of the more dominant fighters during this period, and both of them made the top 10 on 2 different occasions. We're not going to come to a conclusion on these 2 fighters because they did actually fight twice. Once they fought a draw, and the other one's a very close decision. It's too close to call in this one. But I thought I'd let you look at some clips of Eddie Machen, and then we'll look at Zora Folley, because they both came in at number 7 and 8 in reverse order in the decades. This is Zora Folley right here against Oscar Bonavena out of Argentina. Folley was always on balance, just a very good boxer, much like Machen, very crafty. That's why when they fought one another, it was almost looking like mirror images of one another. Here's Folley against Henry Cooper in Great Britain. He put the Brit down twice in this fight, but lost the decision. Very close decision and highly disputed. Notice the jab Folley possesses, and he's got fast hands. At number 6, Jimmy Ellis goes up against Archie Moore. Ellis stood 6'1", 196. Moore was actually a light heavyweight, fighting in the heavyweight division, 5'11", 188. Here's Archie Moore fighting one of the bigger fighters of the decade in Nino Valdez, and he beat him in a 15-round decision. Moore could take a punch. They both fought Floyd Patterson. I don't know if it's fair to say Moore lost by knockout and Jimmy Ellis won a controversial 15-round decision. Here's Ellis against Jerry Quarry in their 1968 WBA title fight, in which was one of the most boring fights in history. And also, Ellis is going to win the WBA title. Who do you think is going to win this matchup, Moore or Ellis? You got to decide. At number 5, it's an easy one. It's Floyd Patterson. He was number 5 in the 50s and 60s. Another interesting observation here. I'm not going to compare the two. I don't know that one was better than the other one. But Patterson was a great heavyweight. Remember, he won the title. He was the youngest heavyweight in history when he won the title in 1956. Here he is in action against Eddie Machen. 1964, Patterson's going to win a very close decision and bring home actually this was not a non-title fight. And then here's Patterson winning the title back from Ingemar Johansson in 1960. Had that peekaboo style, and there's that famous left hook. Patterson had very fast hands, and he regained the heavyweight championship, lost it to Sonny Liston 2 years later. At number 4, Ernie Terrell goes up against Ingemar Johansson. Terrell 6'6", 220. Johansson 6 foot 194. Johansson the heavyweight champion from 59 to 60. Terrell the WBA champion from 1965 to 1967. Terrell was the number 1 contender in the world in 65 and 66. Here's a look at Ingemar Johansson against Floyd Patterson in their title fight in 1959. Ingemar had quite a right hand. His first round knockout against Eddie Machen kind of put him on the map. In fighting Ernie Terrell, he's going to be giving up about 6 inches. Terrell had a piston-like jab. These two could have met. Johansson retired about 62, and Ernie Terrell was just coming on. Who's going to win this fight? You got to choose between Ernie Terrell and Ingemar Johansson. At number 3, 2 heavyweight champions go against each other. Their titles spanned about 20 years difference. Frazier, 205, is going to have about a 20-pound weight advantage. He was the number 1 contender in 67, 68, and 69. Ezzard Charles, heavyweight champion from 1949 to 51. It's going to be a good matchup. Charles was somewhat frail, but he was very active. Going against Frazier, he would really have to hold off the bigger heavyweight. Charles came up from the light heavyweight division and was just a fighting machine. Here he is in action. Frazier, on the other hand, just came forward. His relentless swarming style, one of the best conditioned heavyweights in history. Who do you think's going to win this fight? Who do you give the advantage to? Both were heavyweight champions. Frazier has more of the name recognition, but Ezzard Charles is one of the top fighters in the 1950s. Now we're going to take a look at Sonny Liston and Jersey Joe Walcott. Liston stood 6'1.5", 218, 84-inch reach. Walcott 6 foot 194. Both heavyweight champions. Liston was 1962 to 64. Jersey Joe 51 to 52. This would be a great matchup. You're going to have to tell me who you think would win this fight and who would have the advantage. Interesting enough, Walcott was the referee in the 1965 fight between Ali and Liston, the famous first-round knockout. Here's Jersey Joe, very smooth, great boxer. He was up in age, but that was his prime. He was in his prime at the age of 37. He just got better with age. He was a well-conditioned athlete. You'd never guess he was that old. And here's his famous left hook to win the championship. Here he is against Joe Louis, which would be very similar to the fight against Sonny Liston. You can see Jersey Joe puts him down. This was in 1947. It was not in the 50s, but this was one of his better fights. Jersey Joe could move, he could stick, he could stay away, and you can see he could hit with power. But he's what I call a cute fighter, always coming in at angles, turning, keeping his hands down. Just had a real unique style. And of course, Liston, in my opinion, had the whole package. Pulverizing left jab, power, could box, take a punch. Well conditioned. Here he is putting out Cleveland Williams, one of the top contenders in the world. This would be a great fight because Jersey Joe would be moving, and movement gave Liston trouble, as we saw with Eddie Machen in their 1960 fight. Would Liston be able to corner Jersey Joe? You can see if he hit him, it would definitely be over. You got to decide. Let me know who you think would win this fight, Jersey Joe or Sonny Liston. And we saved the best for last, a very controversial fight. Top two fighters of the decade, Rocky Marciano versus Muhammad Ali. 6'3", 210, Ali. Marciano is going to be giving up, quite a bit of size here, about 25 pounds, 5'10", 184. Both were heavyweight champions. It'll be a great fight of contrasting styles. Here's Marciano winning the heavyweight title in 1952 from Jersey Joe. Jersey had a similar style to Muhammad Ali, although he was 3 inches shorter and some 15 pounds lighter. And there is the knockout blow. You got to tell me who you think would win. It's going to be a tough decision. Here's Muhammad Ali against Floyd Patterson in their 1965 heavyweight matchup. Ali's going to win a 12-round decision. He's down off his toes in this fight, pretty much fighting flat-footed, which was unusual in the 60s for him. Well, now's the hard part. We have to come up with some decisions. Before I get going here, number 8 and number 7 are the same two fighters, Eddie Machen and Zora Folley. We're going to go with the draw on that one. At number 5, Floyd Patterson is the same fighter, so we're not going to render a decision in that one. At number 10, Cleveland Williams, to me, has an advantage over Hurricane Jackson. He's much stronger, more powerful. Jackson does well early. Cleveland Williams eliminate him with a knockout late in the fight. Jerry Quarry has superior hand speed to Nino Valdez. His punches are tighter. He's got better combinations. Valdez really swings wildly with his punches. Made to order for Quarry. I think Quarry wins by knockout. Jimmy Ellis, great boxer, great trainer in Angelo Dundee. Has a little size advantage over Archie Moore, and his right hand was deadly. I got to give him the advantage against Archie Moore. Ernie Terrell has the advantage, 6 inches in height over Ingemar Johansson. I think Terrell easily wins a 12-round decision. He usually stayed out of danger with his speed and quickness. The biggest advantage of any fight is going to be the number 3 spot, Joe Frazier over Ezra Charles. Ezra Charles was a great fighter, but he'd be giving up quite a bit of size, almost 20 pounds against Frazier. I think Frazier wins within 5 rounds. Sonny Liston against Jersey Joe. Jersey Joe had a style that would give Liston trouble. But once again, remember Sonny Liston beat Eddie Machen in 1960. I think this fight would be similar. Jersey Joe moving quite a bit. I give Liston in the decision. and Jersey Joe able to stay away. Muhammad Ali, I give him a 12-round decision over Rocky Marciano. I think his boxing ability was just too much. Let me know what you think. I enjoyed it. I hope you did too. Please hit the comments there. And the final total was the 1960s won every fight that we had. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.